Status is never destroyed through confrontation. It is erased through perception. Most men are trained to believe dominance is loud, visible, and forceful. In reality, the higher the hierarchy, the more invisible the mechanisms become. Open attacks create resistance. Silent repositioning creates decay. No individual carries his own status. It exists only as a collective agreement inside other minds. Your target stands tall because the room unconsciously confirms his elevation. You don't defeat him by pushing him down. You remove the confirmation. The moment the social gaze stops reinforcing him, gravity takes over. This is the first inversion. Status is not a personal asset. It is a shared hallucination, and hallucinations collapse when they are no longer fed. Direct challenge is the behavior of lower-ranking competitors. It signals that you are operating inside his frame, accepting his relevance, asking the room to witness a duel. Even if you win the exchange, you validate his position by treating him as an equal threat. High-level operators never do this. They execute 3 silent removals. They withdraw attention. They delay response. They maintain emotional neutrality. Attention is status oxygen. Watch what happens in any council, boardroom, or court. The individual who receives the most uninterrupted focus is perceived as central. Interruptions, quick agreements, defensive reactions, these are all offerings. They feed the illusion. When you stop giving them, the room begins to recalibrate. You do not look at him when he speaks. You do not rush to answer his provocations. You do not emotionally register his presence. You interact as if his authority requires verification. This introduces a fracture between his self-image and the room's feedback. Status collapses in that gap. The second mechanism is response timing. Lower status individuals respond immediately to prove competence, confidence, relevance. High status individuals control when interaction happens. When he addresses you and you pause, not in hesitation, but in evaluation, you reverse the flow. He becomes the one waiting for acknowledgement. Waiting is submission when roles are supposed to be fixed. A controlled delay communicates one message to every observer. Your signal does not command my nervous system. You haven't lifted a finger, but the hierarchy has shifted. The third mechanism is emotional non-cooperation. Provocations are status tests. They are designed to trigger visible movement, defense, humor, aggression, over-clarification. Any reaction confirms that he can reach inside your state and alter it. The moment your internal condition changes in response to him, the room records the exchange. Influence has direction. But when there is no visible effect, no tightening of the jaw, no change in tone, no increase in verbal output, the attempt returns to sender. Now he is the one exposed, because he escalated and nothing moved. Observers begin to process a new question. Why is the expected reaction not happening? Unanswered expectations create doubt. Doubt dissolves authority. This is how status is removed without contact. There is another layer, selective engagement. You do not treat everyone equally in a hierarchy. Equality of response is a democratic illusion. Strategic asymmetry is what creates rank. You give full attention to those below him. You respond fluidly to others in the room. You create warmth and presence, but never directed at him. This isolates him without a single hostile act. Social organisms interpret exclusion faster than they interpret attack. An attack creates a conflict. Exclusion creates a reclassification. He is no longer central. He is peripheral. And he cannot openly fight it because there was no visible aggression to resist. If he tries to force interaction, he appears to be seeking validation. If he remains silent, his absence becomes normal. Both paths reduce him. Another silent weapon is frame non-acceptance. When he makes a strong declarative statement, lower-ranking individuals react inside its structure, agreeing, disagreeing, refining, defending. You do something else. You shift the topic. You ask a question to the room, not to him. You continue the discussion as if his statement was a minor contribution. You are not countering him, you are resizing him. Status depends on being the reference point. Remove him as the reference point, and his authority becomes decorative. And here is the critical rule. All of this must happen without visible intent. The moment it looks strategic, it becomes competition. Competition restores his relevance. Your behavior must appear natural, unforced, almost indifferent. Because true hierarchy is never negotiated in public. It is silently recognized. The collapse is complete when others begin to mirror your treatment. They start interrupting him. They stop seeking his approval. They redirect their bodies towards you. They wait for your reaction instead of his. At that point, nothing was done, yet everything changed. He will not understand the moment he lost the room, because there was no moment, only the gradual withdrawal of psychological oxygen. This is power at its most refined. No attack, no defense, no declaration, just the removal of invisible support. And a man without reflected status is a man already lowered, even if he is still speaking.